I'm going to speak to you this morning about self-realization, as it is called in the East, and God-realization, as I call it. God-realization has to be the same as self-realization with a capital S, obviously, because it is represented as the highest supreme truth that can be realized here. Now, I'm not convinced that woman realizes the truth the same as man does. She realizes the truth in her way, which is love. And when she is love, she is the truth. Whereas man, judged by all the masters who speak, realize God or self, capital S if they're of Eastern origin. They seem to realize a God as truth, whereas woman realizes a God as love. And they are, as I say, two different species endeavoring to come together into one, which is not a species at all. So I'm going to speak about man and his self-realization and his search and seeking of truth, which is his own realization, or what is called enlightenment. But first, I do not want to minimize woman's enlightenment when she is love. It is no less than man and all the masters who get up on the stage and declare the truth that they have realized. Hers is not that role. That's not to put her in a box. Of course she can get up on the stage, but it is not the usual thing for her. Love is in itself just there, whereas truth is always endeavoring to communicate. Love, too, is the great communicator on earth, for no man has ever realized the truth without first passing through love. But love is a passive thing, except when, according to the will, it is active. Its basic thing of love is passive, because in being passive, it is like the God itself, which does nothing. I'm talking about God, which is behind the great Creator God. For the great Creator God that I refer to is not God. And the reason it's not God, the supreme, whatever, the reason it's not God is you cannot have an adjective for God. You cannot have a great Creator God. There are two adjectives endeavoring in our language to describe the immensity and wonder of something. As legitimate as those words, those adjectives are, they're not true. Because you cannot describe God except by one word: God. And when God is realized, there is only one word that will describe it in your experience: God. God is God. Right. Now let us get into this self-realization, which every master declares that he is self-realized or God-realized, that he has realized reality, or whatever the words are used. For I have realized what I call Supreme Being, where there is none other, and there can be none other. For I am the only one, or it, that there is. I have realized that in the body of Barry Long. But it's not the truth. It is not the truth. It is the truth to us. And it is the truth to all the masters who say they are God realized, whether it's Ramana Maharshi, I don't know whether he ever said he was God realized, but all the followers, all the priests that follow, give all sorts of, the adoring priests and all the rest of it, give all the adoring adjectives to describe the masters, and it's not true of the simplicity of the master. The master has realized the reflection of God, the reflection of reality, the reflection of truth, and the reflection of love. Are you hearing me? No man with a brain has ever realized God, and never ever will. Are you listening to me, please? Because I know all the masters that you've heard declaring themselves that they have self-realized and God-realized, but they have not realized God. They have realized the reflection of God, the reflection of reality. So here we come back to the self-evident truth, the self-evident knowledge inside your body, which I'm asking you to look at now, that the space within your body where you think, where you wish, where you hope, where you dream. Now, is that actual? I mean, is that in your experience that you do think? Is that in your experience? Now, you can't have an object which thought is. Every thought is some form of object, a substantive object, not a substantial object. Are you getting my words, please? Because I use words correctly, which is very rare. So substantial means material, doesn't it? Like the table, like the flesh. This is material. This is substantial. But it's not substantive. Substantive is where you wish and dream and have emotions. Are your emotions substantial? No. They're substantive. But nobody has ever made this distinction, because nobody has the knowledge of the words as I have them. So your emotions are substantive, but not substantial. Your body is substantial. And every object outside of your body and your body is substantial. And everything within your inner space, which I want you to demonstrate to you, please, so that we don't have any doubt about what I'm talking about, so that you don't believe it. You know it in your own experience that you think, and you get emotional, and you have moments of excitement. I'm talking about inner excitement, excitation. You have excitation inside of you. Where does that occur? You could say in the body, but that's not true. It occurs in inner space, because excitation is a form of emotion, a form of feeling, isn't it? And all feeling is in yourself, and yourself is only in inner space. It is substantive, but not substantial. Is this true? Am I speaking the truth of self-knowledge, to know yourself? So we come back to the inner mirror, because thought and feelings have to occur against something. Just as you're looking at the speaker now, the substantial speaker, let us say, or the substantial table, everything in existence, every object in existence will appear against a background. Whether it's the sky, the clouds, or whether it's the many objects, innumerable objects in your purview through your eyes. There's always a background. And it is that background that allows you then to distinguish the objects in front of it. For if there was no background, you would be drawn to the no background, the nothing. And the objects in front would not mean anything to you. Because the objects would appear to be just objects. But the fact is that there is always something behind for you to reflect off. And so it is within. Every emotion has to be reflected in something for you to perceive it. So we can say every object in outer space is here. It's not where the scientists are talking about and all the so-called space probes are going on. Here's your space probe here. This is outer space. Outside your body is outer space. And every object here is a reflection to you. Even if we use the external way of scientific or way of looking at things. The light from the object carries the image to the retina, which is an extension of the brain, and that goes into the brain, where it is converted into knowing in the memory.